So once you've imported dimensions using the annotation import option onto your drawing, you may want to tidy up the appearance of the dimensions or space them in a regular way so they look neat and easy to read. So we're going to have a look at the auto cleanup tool for doing that. So if you want to set your working directory as drawing details, and then subdirectory is dimensions cleanup, and then we're going to load this dim cleanup drawing in. So here's the first sheet that we're looking at in that drawing, and what we're going to do is we're going to select the front view. So I'll select that from up here. You can see that this one's been referred to as the front view, and then if I right click on there, I get the menu of options for that view, and one of the options is clean up dimensions, and then I get this little dialog box that I can change various options in there, which we will come to shortly, but for this one I'm just going to select the default options and click on apply. You can see that it spaces the dimensions regularly, so the spacing between each one has become regular, and it's offset them by a certain amount outside of the part. So if I click on apply there and close, and then just click off the dimensions, you can see what it's done, hopefully. And also it's added these snap lines that, should I want to create any more dimensions, I can snap them to these lines, and again that's an option. We'll look at how to switch that on and off. So we'll go on to sheet 2 and just look at the procedure again, just doing it slightly differently. So this time we're going to select the top view, so that's the top view there, and then if we hold down Control we can select a second view as well. So we'll select front, and then rather than right clicking to get into that same menu, with those two selected, if we select the Annotate tab, and then the Cleanup Dimensions button is just there. So you can get into the Cleanup Dimensions window doing it that way as well. Let's say we don't want to include those snap lines this time, we can deselect that as an option, and then the offset is the distance of the closest dimension to the model. So let's say we want to increase that slightly, we'll have it as 0.625, and then the increment is the spacing between each dimension. So again, let's say we want to increase that slightly from what it was, we'll have it as 0.5. So when we click on apply, you can see them jump into their new positions, and then if we click off, let's look at this lower view and just compare it with sheet 1. Hopefully you can see that these dimensions are slightly closer together than the spacing on sheet 2. So we've had an effect there. Now the auto cleanup only works on linear dimensions, so that's dimensions that have this sort of straight line format. Angular, and to a certain extent radial and diameter dimensions, the tool can't handle them. So it's only really of much use for linear dimensions.